The night Daniel found his boss alone, sitting on the edge of her bed with tears running down her face, was the night his life quietly shifted. Not because of money, not because of power, but because of a single unexpected moment of kindness that neither of them saw coming. Sometimes the biggest changes don't begin with loud words or dramatic actions. Sometimes they begin when one human being chooses to stay instead of walk away. Before we begin, if stories like this touch your heart and remind you that kindness still matters, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. Your support helps us keep bringing meaningful stories to life here on your channel name. Daniel had never imagined he'd still be living paycheck to paycheck at 36. He was a single dad with tired eyes and a gentle smile that hid years of responsibility. Every morning before sunrise, he packed his 7-year-old daughter Lily's lunch, braided her hair the best he could, and walked her to the neighbor's apartment before heading to work. His job was stable but demanding. He worked as an operations supervisor at a large corporate firm in Chicago. Long hours, tight deadlines, and a boss known for being distant and intimidating. Her name was Rebecca Collins. To most employees, she was a sharp suit, a firm voice, and an unreadable expression. She didn't smile much, she didn't socialize, and she definitely didn't talk about her personal life. Daniel respected her, but he also feared her a little. Still, he showed up early every day and stayed late whenever asked. He needed the job. Lily needed stability. That was all that mattered. One evening, Daniel realized he'd left important documents in the executive suite. The building was almost empty, lights dimmed, the usual hum replaced by silence. As he passed Rebecca's office, he noticed her door slightly open. Inside, the lights were on. He knocked gently, ready to apologize for intruding. There was no answer. When he stepped inside, his breath caught. Rebecca wasn't behind her desk. She was sitting on a small couch near the attached room, her heels kicked off, her head buried in her hands. Her shoulders shook quietly. Daniel froze. This wasn't the powerful woman everyone knew. This was someone breaking. "I'm sorry," he said softly, already turning to leave. "Wait," she whispered. He stopped. I didn't realize anyone was still here," she said, wiping her eyes quickly, embarrassed. Daniel hesitated, then gently closed the door behind him, not to trap her, but to give her privacy from the empty hallway. The click of the lock echoed softly. Rebecca noticed but didn't protest. In that moment she seemed relieved no one else would see her like this. "I won't tell anyone," Daniel said. "I just came to grab some files." Rebecca laughed weakly. "You don't have to pretend. You've already seen me at my worst." Daniel didn't respond right away. He simply sat in the chair across from her, keeping a respectful distance. "My daughter cries like that sometimes," he finally said. "Usually when she thinks she has to be strong all by herself." Rebecca looked up, surprised. "I didn't know you had a daughter," she said. "Most people don't ask," he replied gently. Something in the room shifted. The silence no longer felt heavy. It felt safe. Rebecca took a deep breath and spoke words she had never said out loud to anyone at work. She talked about the pressure of leadership, the loneliness at the top, and the recent loss of her mother. She talked about the apartment that felt too quiet at night, and the fear of failing everyone who depended on her. Daniel listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't offer solutions. He simply stayed. When she finished, tears streamed freely down her face. She looked ashamed, like she'd crossed an invisible line. "I shouldn't have said all that," she murmured. "Yes, you should have," Daniel said calmly. "You're human before you're a boss." Rebecca stared at him, stunned. No one had ever spoken to her like that. Over the following weeks, something subtle but powerful changed at work. Rebecca became more approachable. She asked employees how they were doing and waited for real answers. She noticed Daniel's dedication, his punctuality, his quiet leadership. One afternoon, she called him into her office. "I want to promote you," she said. Not because I feel sorry for you, but because you lead with empathy, and that's rare. Daniel was speechless. The raise meant he could finally move Lily into a better neighborhood. He could afford after-school programs. He could breathe. But the biggest change wasn't financial. Rebecca started a company initiative focused on employee wellness and support for working parents. Flexible schedules, counseling services, kindness became part of the culture. One evening, as Daniel prepared to leave, Rebecca stopped him. "You know," she said softly, "that night you closed the door. I thought you were protecting yourself, but you were protecting me." Daniel smiled. Everyone deserves a safe moment. Years later, Daniel would tell Lily that story when she asked him what kindness really meant. He'd tell her it wasn't about grand gestures. It was about showing up when someone least expects it, and choosing compassion over fear. Rebecca would go on to mentor dozens of young leaders, always reminding them that strength doesn't come from hiding pain, but from allowing others to see it. And it all began with a single dad, a locked door, and a choice to care. So if you ever find yourself standing at the edge of someone else's quiet storm, remember this story. Your kindness might be the moment that changes everything, not just for them, but for you too. Because kindness doesn't just heal others, it transforms the world one heart at a time.